The cold temperatures tonight have people in the region remembering the anniversary of the blizzard of '93. You'll be losing an hour of sleep tonight, but we'll share tips on how you can adjust to the new time better this year.
This is Local 3 News Weekend.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us for Local 3 News at 11. I'm Mary Frances Hoots. Although most of the snow has already melted, it certainly was a beautiful morning across the Tennessee Valley today. This picture behind me comes from our general manager, Callie Starnes. If you have any beautiful scenery, we've seen plenty of it today. Be sure to send us an email to pressrelease@local3news.com. And today marks the anniversary of a very important weather event in the Tennessee Valley, the blizzard of '93. The freezing cold temperatures expected to hit tonight have locals reminiscing on that day. Karen Aguilar spoke with a family who lived through it, and she joins us in the studio with a story. Karen.
The Daggett family says the blizzard of '93 was unexpected and today gave them flashbacks. 29 years ago, Kelly Daggett Perry and her mom, Anna Daggett, survived the catastrophic blizzard of '93.
How do you feel about that, and especially that the temperatures are going to be as cold as they are tonight?
Oh my gosh, yesterday it was 70 degrees and today we've got 4 inches of snow, which was exactly deja vu.
The blizzard killed several people and left thousands without power for weeks. But the two made it work without power and even fed over 200 emergency service workers at their home in Chickamauga, Georgia.
My mother is basically Laura Ingalls and grew up cooking on a wood stove. That's how we were heating the house and how Mama was cooking for everyone.
Cooking in the dark.
And had candles and oil lamps.
How many meals a day would you guys say you served?
It was almost constant.
We kept cooking all the time.
They say they used other techniques to make it through.
Just a layer of Walmart bags full of snow.
Yep, in the freezer.
They say the most important thing is to be prepared because you never know when a blizzard will hit.
Well, the hope for other people would be that they have some type of a contingency plan in place always.
Well, you can keep with Local 3 News for tips on how to be prepared for inclement weather. According to the Daggets, it can make the difference. Reporting live in the studio, Karen Aguilar, Local 3 News.
Alrighty, thank you, Karen. And it doesn't get much better than Chad and Rebecca Pellegrin's view from Big Frog Mountain in Ocoee, Tennessee this morning. Clay, that is absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. I mean, Mary Frances, obviously this was no '93 blizzard, but we had a nice wintry scene this morning, and many locations still have a little bit of snow on the ground, but it is going to be cold. The next thing that we're kind of concerned with as temperatures drop into the teens. In fact, a hard freeze warning in effect for all of North Georgia until 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Remember, we're fast forwarding those clocks 1 hour, so you will lose the hour of sleep, and you're going to be waking up to a brutally cold temperature, so kind of a double whammy there. And as we take a look at those temperatures, currently already 21 in Cleveland, so outside of the city we're going to be in the teens within the next hour or so. Athens 23, and keep in mind some of these locations, especially northeast of Chattanooga, still have snow on the ground, so it's going to be a little bit colder in those areas, and a lot of that snow kind of withered away here within the city limits, so not going to be quite as cold, but still very cold temperatures in store as we move through the rest of the night. And wind chill values typically in the mid to upper teens to lower 20s, and by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, many of us will feel like the single digits. So again, very cold air out there, but fortunately no winter weather to track tonight. It is calm as can be across the entire southeast, and that's going to be a trend we continue into your Sunday as well. But again, road temperatures are cool. We'll talk more about the potential for black ice coming up with your full forecast in 15 minutes. But for now, back to you, Mary Frances.
Alrighty, thank you, Clay. And Maury County Search and Rescue had a busy morning. A caller alerted the team that a vehicle had run off East Cowpen Road, which is off Old Highway 2, where there's little to no cell service. Crews said the roads were wet, muddy, and slick where they located that vehicle, making the rescue just a little more difficult. The team was able to take four-wheel drive vehicles up to the crash and safely bring the people back down the mountain. And in a few hours, we will be springing forward, meaning people will lose out on an hour of sleep, unfortunately. Here are some friendly reminders to help you adjust to the time change just a little bit better. Set your clocks an hour ahead now instead of waiting until tomorrow morning to do so. Exercising, increasing water intake, limiting caffeine and alcohol consumption, and getting morning sunlight and fresh air will all help you adjust to the new time better. And avoiding blue light before bedtime is also suggested.
Get off all the digital devices at least 2 hours before bedtime. Use blue light filters and your night mode on all your phones, your iPads. Also, TV is very stimulating, especially with, the horrors of the war going on right now.
On our website, local3news.com, for additional ways to become accustomed to daylight saving. Coming up next on Local 3 News at 11, cities in the South are standing in solidarity against the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Hear from protesters in Birmingham, Alabama, and the potential peace talks between the two countries' presidents. We head to break. Let's take a look at the snowy surprise some Lee University students saw when returning back from spring break today. Opposition to Russia's invasion of Ukraine is spreading throughout the United States. In Birmingham, Alabama, protesters marched through the streets calling for an end to the war. Many were born in Ukraine and now live in Alabama. Others see the images of what the war want and to show their support for the Ukrainian people.
The entire world is with Ukraine, and we're fighting for democracy. We're fighting for the right to live. And I think as the citizen, it's your responsibility to write that letter, to share on Facebook, to tell your friend, to participate in anything you can potentially participate. That's why I urge everybody, take the action, take those 10 minutes of your day, take the action today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Don't forget about it, because maybe your action of 10 minutes is going to save somebody else's life. You don't know.
Those protesters are putting together care packages to send to Ukraine. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is open to meeting Russian President Vladimir Putin for peace talks in Germany. But Zelensky tells Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett that there would have to be a ceasefire first. In Tel Aviv, Israel, Israelis and Ukrainians gathered to protest the Russian invasion of Ukraine. They called on President Putin to stop the war. Some protesters supported the idea of holding peace talks in Jerusalem.
I want to say regarding the meeting in Jerusalem, I think it's a good idea, and I think Israel can play a significant part in the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, and they are welcome here. I think that's an excellent idea.
Putin has ignored Zelensky's previous offers to talk about ending the war. Just after the break on Local 3 News at 11, the change in temperature could be ruining your plants. Hear how to ensure a beautiful bloom from your spring flowers.
I've been with I've been with Local 3 for 14 years because it's a family-owned company that promotes from within. Come grow your career as an account executive on our sales team. Local leaders serving local businesses. Here's how to apply.
After a string of spring-like temperatures to begin March, many plants across the region started blooming. And as winter weather and extreme temperatures return this weekend, some plants could be at risk. So if you haven't already, go ahead and bring any potted plants or ferns inside for the night. Place cloth sheets or blankets around the base of your plants. That'll help to keep them insulated. And extra mulch and pine needles can also give your plants a better chance of surviving the cold.
If you got some low-lying perennials or hostas that are trying to come up a little bit, if you want in the next day, maybe stick a few pine needles, on top of it.
The average last frost in Chattanooga is the first week of April, so if you want to avoid any early spring cold spells, wait until the second week of April to begin planning. All right, and flipping over to the forecast now, plenty of snow in our region this morning. Much of it is gone now, but I know lots of people enjoyed the weather earlier today. Take a look at some of the animals outside who had an absolute blast today. Clay, how was it this morning? You were there for it all live when it was all coming down, weren't you?
Yeah. Here at 2 a.m., that's when things really started to pick up. And really from about 2 a.m. to I would say 7, that's when we had a majority of the snow falling. But again, things are calm now. We're just dealing with some bitterly cold mid-March air, so winter not done yet. Spring is just a couple of days away. We picked up an inch of snow officially at the Chattanooga airport, so not that impressive, but it at least ends our snow drought. High was 43, and that was right at midnight, low of 27. You can see that record set back in 1998. Now tomorrow morning likely going to break a record low as temperatures drop well into the teens. But as for the radar, I mean, things are quiet all across the southeast. That system was moving very quickly, which was probably a good thing. We would have been dealing with a lot higher impacts if it were moving just a little bit slower, but it got out of here pretty quickly. And in Chattanooga, most of the snow actually kind of withered away throughout the day, but road temperatures are still below freezing and will continue to drop. But the thing is, the sun was able to melt away some of that snow, especially that was on the sidewalks, which led to some runoff, which could potentially refreeze. Now, black ice in and around Chattanooga, not going to be a huge deal, but places like Cleveland, Dayton, Athens, even into Polk, Monroe counties that had a little more snowfall Saturday morning could be dealing with some issues. So there may be some slick spots, especially in the higher elevations. Just keep that in mind as you're traveling out because temperatures are going to continue to drop. Athens at 23, 21 in Cleveland, already 20 in Murphy, and 28 here in the Scenic City. So temperatures, again, on the drop, and we're already feeling more like 20. So when you add in the winds out of the north, it's going to feel even colder tonight, especially into those higher elevations where the winds are going to be gusting to 20 to 25 miles during the overnight hours. And temperatures, again, by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be right around 16 within the city. Some locations may be dipping into the single digits before we rebound fairly nicely and quickly going into tomorrow afternoon. But here's another look at some snowy scenes. This is over Signal Mountain, sent in by Jessica Hampton. It was really a nice, snowy, wintry scene. And keep in mind, last weekend we were nearly 80 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. So what a difference just 7 days makes. And taking a look at some of those snowfall totals. Again, Athens, Decatur, Sweetwater, nearly 5 inches of snow. And we had anywhere from 4 to even 5.5 inches across the area, with lower amounts into North Georgia. And of course, here in Chattanooga, only 1 inch officially. And our Skywatchers calling in 3.5 in Unica, 4.5 in Athens, 4.2 in Red Bank. Across the metro, anywhere from about 1 to 2 to even 3 inches of snow. And then across North Georgia, 1 to 2 inches on average. But again, for your future cast moving into your Monday and Sunday, not a lot going on. Our next chance of rain not going to arrive until we'll say the middle of next week, likely coming in for your Tuesday evening. And we'll keep that unsettled pattern through Friday. And tonight, that's going to be the big story. So be sure to bring in those pets. You might want to leave a faucet dripping because those temperatures, again, going to drop very quickly. Could be our coldest night so far this winter, and we waited all the way till March, and those wind chills also going to be a factor. But just one more reminder, remember, set those clocks forward 1 hour. You're going to lose that hour of sleep. It's also a good time to restock those emergency kits and check in on that severe weather plan as we move into severe weather season. And of course, you want to replace those batteries during each time change each year in both the smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. So just some good reminders there. But as for the next 7 days, again, if you don't like the cold, it's going to be out of here in just a couple of days. In fact, by the end of next week, we're going to be right back in the 70s where we should be this time of the year.
Looking forward to that, Clay. And a possible tornado tore through Ocala, Florida this morning. So far, no injuries have been reported. Several homes and buildings were damaged, including an animal hospital, where they are working to move about 50 animals to a new shelter.
And of course, everyone's okay. All the pets are okay. That's the most important thing. And we just have to go forward from here.
The National Weather Service will determine if it really was a tornado that caused the damage. And straight ahead on Local 3 News at 11, weather has spoiled the weekend as at the Players Championship in Florida. We'll have an update on the tournament and how they plan to handle play the next 2 days. And Rick Barnes and his Vols have done it again as they take down Kentucky in the SEC tournament semifinals. Full recap from Tampa ahead of Sunday's championship game coming up next in sports. Doing your segment for just a bit. Some things that never get old are ice cream on a hot summer day, watching DJB's buzzer beater against Furman, and Tennessee taking on Kentucky in basketball, which happened this evening. And if you can imagine, it doesn't get any better in the postseason as the Vols and Cats battle for a spot in the SEC tournament title game, which was down in Tampa. Big Orange setting the tone early. They love dudes with 3 names for some reason. Braden Huntley Hatfield, the latest big-time cram to get the tone as Tennessee leads early. Ben Bovick, take it away.
Hey, can you guys hear me? This is fantastic. Excellent. So, as we pick things up here, Vols late in the fourth looking to close things out. Kennedy Chandler can't get it to go, but Santiago Vescovi gets a big offensive rebound as the Tennessee Volunteers are able to hold on to defeat the Kentucky Wildcats 69-62. They have punched their ticket to the SEC tournament title game against Texas A&M. Man, they've come a long way since that tough loss inside Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky a couple months ago.
We have great leadership on the team, and I think that is really important at this time of the year, having your leaders going through these games, leading younger guys.
Coaches always, before every single game, have a championship mindset, and that's what he's been saying ever since. On every single game, honestly, you gotta have that championship mindset, and our goal is to play Monday night, the NCAA tournament championship game, and that's our mindset.
Playing on Monday night in April is the goal, but first they have to accomplish another Sunday, and that's win an SEC tournament title for the first time since 1979. Tennessee will take on Texas A&M Sunday at 1 o'clock for all the marbles inside Amalie Arena in Tampa Bay, Florida. And in other SEC basketball news, former Chattanooga Mocs head men's basketball coach Will Wade officially out as head coach at LSU. Wade's firing comes days after the school received the notice of allegations that detail significant misconduct. He was 108-54 in Baton Rouge, but his tenure was marred by an FBI investigation back in 2019, and now the latest accusations. Kevin Nickelberry will serve as interim coach of the LSU Tigers in the NCAA tournament. And history will be made tomorrow as our season finale of Horsing Around will feature its first collegiate athlete. The Mocs' Malachi Smith is the Conference Player of the Year, Tournament MVP, SoCon champion, you name it. He and the Mocs are more than ready to see who and where they'll be playing in the dance. And if we learned anything from their run in Asheville, don't doubt these Chattanooga Mocs. Here's a sneak peek at Sunday's season finale.
A lot of these teams might just be happy to get there.
Yeah, just to get in. No, we're going in to win.
You guys are, I feel like you have the mentality of don't let us get in there because you're not going to want to play the Chattanooga Mocs. How much do you take a chip on your shoulder into this dance?
Obviously, there's going to be teams, or there's going to be a lot majority of people that say we're going to lose, and we have to go in there with the mentality, just believe in us. And as long as we got each other, we can make anything happen. We won't care what none of the people say. We won't care what none of the writers say or anything. We're just going to focus on us. Yeah.
Dude, like last year, like,
Our full segment with Malachi Smith of the Southern Conference champion Chattanooga Mocs will air in its normal time slot at 6 and 11 on Sunday. Also, tomorrow isn't just any Sunday, it's Election Sunday. We'll be live from the Roundhouse at 6 as the Mocs find out their seeding in the big dance. Mother Nature and Father Time, two beings greater than man who have a major effect on our world. Well, the game of golf isn't a fan of either this week as rain has spoiled golf's fifth major in the Players' Championship and, well, it just gets too dark too early to make it up. In other words, it's a mess. This has been pretty much the scene the last 3 days at TPC Sawgrass. Rain, rain, and more rain. It's suspended play until noon on Saturday, but they're still behind. A Monday finish now in the plans. 16 of the 24 groups originally scheduled to tee off on Friday afternoon finally began second round play Saturday, but no one completed more than 4 holes. And just so everybody knows at home, and this is obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway, they play 18, so only 4 holes, that's tough. So they better get going at the crack of dawn on Sunday. These guys are off as they try to make up as much play as they can. One of those guys going off in the morning, Baylor school grad Keith Mitchell, who's currently 1 stroke back of the lead. He tees off at 8:42 a.m., and it's exciting, but there's still so much golf left to be played. But we'll see how it all shakes out, which is good, though. Daylight savings time should give them an extra bit, a little bit of daylight. So.
Oh, really?
You would think. Isn't that how it works?
Clay, is
it how it
is
works?
it going to be darker earlier?
No,
Darker later.
I'm saying to get extra daylight.
Yeah, we'll have some extra daylight.
saving.
So sunset
Okay.
right around 8
I'm
p.m.
backwards.
But big cold coming our way tonight. Be sure to bundle up if you're heading out, or early Sunday morning as we drop to around 10 degrees. I'll have the latest coming up on Weekend Today from 4 to 8.
Alrighty, thank you, Clay.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.